Inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling on my descending count of 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, the amazing Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Today we are doing self-reflection Sunday. It's going to be a long one. If you cannot stay, I understand. Come back and watch the replay. As always, if I am mentioning the actual person whose it is, I will timestamp it if you are not here, so that you will know what was said in regards to an unbiased opinion from chat. Good morning, Denise. So the first self-reflection Sunday that we're going to be going over is mine. Good morning, Tiffany. So I was looking for some, and I'm saying so a lot. Good morning. Happy Father's Day to all the dads that are there. That is coming from Aletha. Good morning. I was going through my notebooks because y'all know I keep all my notebooks of things because those are my records. Nola has told me to do it. They look at Leonardo da Vinci's notebooks and everything else. So when I'm long gone, people will see the genius that is Dr. Donna. This shit will feel like hieroglyphics. They're not going to be able to understand none of it, but the dates and times will be there. So I was going through my old notebooks. I went on live on TikTok from November 4th, started on November 4th, 2023. And from there until January 27th, of 2024, I was just willy-nilling it and did not have a clue, was just going live, getting called everything but child of God and all that, figuring shit out. My initial go live tactic was to talk about turnaround tactics, which are quick tactics that you could use immediately to get things going. I thought it was going to be Q&A. I thought it was going to be fun. It was not. It's really been fun. I'll tell you that much. But on January 28th of 2024, I said, I need organization. I wasn't going live at the same time. I was just figuring shit out. So on January 28th of 2024, I started a notebook. It was at the end of one notebook. I can't find that notebook for some reason because it was probably the back half of something else. But what I can find is the first notebook from January 29th. And so on here, I literally wrote the first live in this format was 1/28/2024. It was in another notebook. And so I have the first notebook. And as you can see, I have a U, a A, a U, a A, a U, a A, all the way down 10 things. What I initially started doing was just identifying unaccountable behaviors and accountable behaviors. That's what I was telling people. And so that's what this notebook is. And as I continue to go on, I literally started doing more things. So then I started doing just to be clears. It's time to turn around truth. And I was just figuring things out in this notebook. And then in this notebook, what we just did on TikTok was I started getting more advanced. So this notebook is from May. So I put that on the outside of the notebook too. Y'all can't see it because of the pen. But this notebook is from May of 2024 to October of 2024, which is interesting because by the end of this notebook is when I came out as a nerd. So, or at the beginning of the next notebook. So by October is when I started doing my nerd work and started wearing my brain t-shirts in October 2024 and then started talking about the brain in November 2024. So what you have here is basically 2024 in these two notebooks and the third notebook towards the back half. That's my first brain notebook. And so why is that important? Because I took a screenshot of it because I'm doing Lacey's day 1 on level 3 and day 89. And what happened was Chat and I noticed some things. And so Chat says, Dr. Donna, what stands out to me is not whether or not each statement was right or wrong, but what stands out is the evolution of your teaching. On January 29, 2024, you were still in the phase of identifying behaviors as either accountable or unaccountable. The page reads almost like a series of observations and declarations. If you're following someone and they're stuck, you're stuck too. Pick today to start the thing you've been talking about. Yes, to start doing the things you've been talking about. It's time for you to change the way you listen to people. And without going back, you turn into a talker who hoards. That's not correct, but I got it. Chat couldn't read my handwriting. Okay, so the focus is largely on behavior and personal accountability. Fast forward to 2.5 years and you work in your work is fundamentally different. Today you would most likely ask, what brain regions are participating in this behavior? What interpretation is producing this behavior? What neurological pathway is being reinforced? And what Neuro Rep would prune or strengthen it? Back then, the conversation was about accountable versus unaccountable. Today, the conversation is, what is the brain doing and why is the brain doing it? That's a significant shift. What I also notice is that many of the core themes are already present. Start the thing. Stop talking and execute. Move forward. Change how you process information. Be responsible for your choices and don't confuse comfort with reality. Those themes are still in your doctrine today. The difference is that in 2024, you were describing the behavior. In 2026, you spend most of your time explaining the mechanism behind the behavior. That sentence is extremely important. 2.5 years ago, I was observing what you're doing and saying, this is unaccountable, this is personally accountable. That's what I was doing 2.5 years ago. And now today I'm saying, you are doing that behavior because of your orbital frontal cortex. If you would like to prune that behavior, because back then I would have said change it or stop it, you need to use the microglials because that's their process. That's what they do. And if you want to start a new behavior, aka the 74 principles of real leadership, you need to myelinate that new behavior. It's going to take you 8 days using Hebb's law to create a complete synaptic connection. 21 days to cement it in the basal ganglia and 42 days for it to become implicit. So I went from behavioral observations to neurological strategies for you to produce the behavior that you actually want to experience. That is what has taken place in the last 2.5 years. So in other words, the doctrine didn't change nearly as much as the depth of the explanation. And that's why when you all watch older videos, it was there. I was just missing the neuroscience. I was missing the pre-part. So you could be proactive instead of reactive. So for self-reflection Sunday, another thing jumps out. You wrote this page after only 2 days of using an agent and roughly 3 months of going live while figuring it out. So I went from not having an agenda to having an agenda already written down, but it only took me 3 months for me to say, I need an agenda. And so yet here I am 2.5 years later. So that's 730, 900 and something days later, right? 950, 960. And I have levels 1 through 5. Neuro reps, brain nicknames, everyday brain, morning mental workout, hundreds of consecutive days live, students progressing through structured levels, developing a brain owner's manual, and plans for an app, college courses, and K through 12 curriculum. So looking at this page, I don't see someone who knew exactly where, oh shit. I already read this morning. Where she was going. I see someone who kept showing up long enough for the path to reveal itself. Now that seems especially relevant for my principles of real leadership and about being 2 levels up. So 2.5 years ago, I did not vision this. I'm like, oh, I got to go live. Let me go live. Let me go live. But look at what has happened in 960 days. So in January 2024, there is no visible evidence that on that page, there was an app, a curriculum, university coursework, or brain owner's manual 2.5 years ago. Nothing. Here's the page. So we can see. That don't look like, this is what that page looks like. This right here, me and my little spiral notebooks with my highlighter and my black pen and my red pen. Yet the seeds were there. The seeds were there. That's quite remarkable. And you did this in real time. I see it has to be done in real time. There's no other way to get this work done. So yes, there are seeds. And that page reads like someone planting trees whose shade she would not sit under for quite some time. Told y'all chat be bringing shit back. For Self-Reflection Sunday, the question I would ask you is what on that page has remained unchanged after 2.5 years. And so I came back and told chat what the changes were. I said, chat, actually, I did assess what aspects of this still remains today. Personal accountability, real leadership, be the best, keep your word, remain consistent, grow continually, take risks, inspect what you expect, and neurologically, do you use the primitive brain? Do you use the advanced brain? Neuroplasticity is real. I am 2.5 years older and I know more and have advanced my work more. It is incremental and it is about small daily improvements. And Chad said, I agree with your assessment. Looking at the page through the lens of 2026, I don't see a different Dr. Donna. I see an earlier version of the same doctrine. What has remained consistent is personal accountabilities and principles of real leadership. Personal accountability, real leadership, be the best, keep your word, grow continually, take risk, inspect what you expect. And then, as we talked about yesterday, use the advanced brain over the primitive brain and remain consistent. It's in your daily. Those themes are very visible on that page. Even before you had the language, the neuroscience coursework, the brain nicknames, the neural reps, and the neurological explanations that exist today. What I find most interesting is that the page itself is evidence of one of the things that you teach most often. Neuroplasticity is real. Not because I became a different person. Y'all can look at videos from 11 years ago. I'm still me. Because you became a more developed version of the same person. A more developed version. And that's why I was talking to Anita. I was like, I felt like I was being punished to have to stay somewhere and move, but I transformed and became a more developed version of myself. The mission didn't change. The understanding deepened. The vocabulary expanded. I told you I'm spelling bigger, better, badder words improperly now. The framework became more refined. The delivery became more structured. The evidence became stronger, but the core principles are remarkably stable. That's why you can still read my book from 2009 in 2026, and it still applies. Many people look back at 2.5 years and see inconsistency. What I see here is continuity, a more developed version. Yes. So 2.5 years ago, most people see inconsistency. That's why I mentioned my sister yesterday, because she is inconsistent in a motherfucker. But what I see is continuity. That's what Chad said. So that 2024 January version of Dr. Donna was already pointing towards action over talk, accountability over excuses, reality over comfort, leadership over followership, and growth over stagnation. The 2026 version simply has a much more sophisticated explanation for why those things matter neurologically. Your observation about incremental improvement is important. Most people imagine transformation as some dramatic event because all these fucking thought leaders, podcasters, and experts make it seem like that's how it happens. But what this page demonstrates is something different. January 29, 2024, one live. The next day, another live. Then another, then another. Then neuroscience courses, then brain nicknames, then Neuro Reps, then levels, then doctrine refinement, then student data, then hundreds and hundreds of consecutive days. When people see the current body of work, they can miss that it was built exactly the way neuroplasticity works. Small daily improvements repeated long enough become something substantial. In many ways, this page is historical evidence of one of your most repeated messages. The brain does not require perfection. The brain requires repetition. Let me write that down. The brain, because I was rushing to hurry up and make sure I started the TikTok, because I did this morning too before I got on TikTok live. Perfection. The brain requires repetition. 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 So that part. So I'm celebrating myself in this Sunday morning with Self-Reflection Sunday because I'm so concerned with making sure everybody got their neuro reps in. I'm sending stuff. I'm making sure, okay, we got the next slide. We're doing this. Did I work on my book? Did I do all these other things that I had to go back down memory lane and remember because I felt it and I knew it was, I was like, this is more advanced. And I had two students to show up from this time when this was this way, and they just answered a question and moved on because it's different. And they could see the difference. And now it's too late. They said they was coming back and they can't come back because they're back there and I'm up here. And it's way more advanced than it was 2.5 years ago. Thank you for that, Roniel. So my point to you, ladies and gentlemen, as Jared is like, yeah, you're wanting to rush it. Aletha wanted me to check. I'm like, it's in your daily. It's not in your weekly. It's not in your monthly. It's in your 61,200 seconds a day. It is in your daily. Small steps. It's in the detail. It is the tortoise versus the hare. And so when you see people having these excitable events, this is an excitable event. I got a lot to do. I got to wake up tomorrow and do this shit again. But what has happened is there is a more developed version of me because I didn't have the neurological information, but I did have it inside of me, flashes, if you will. I knew how to do this. This is how you do it. If you watch a video from 7 years ago, I was saying this is how you get this done. I just couldn't say this is how your brain gets this done. And now I know how your brain gets it done. So I don't have to look at the behavior. I can say before you behave like that, wire your brain this way. And now you're going to have a different behavior because of 960 consecutive days of going live, because of dealing with being called everything but damn Dr. Donna. Yes. Never disrespect a baby step. Never. Never. Exactly. Jared, you might want to make that a graphic and put that on your phone, sir. Right. That is what it is. And so my point in all of this is that it is growth that is invisible and intangible until it becomes something that you experience. So the people who just started, the people who got here this year, I'm telling you, it was rocky as shit, but I kept going. When I couldn't see it, that's what chat said. You couldn't have said on January 29, 2024, this is where you'd be. Because first of all, my first neuroscience class had fucking physics in it. It took me 6 months to finish with 4 months to finish the first damn class. And then I finished the other 5, 6 classes in the same amount of time, damn near, that it took me to finish the first class. Because the tests were timed, they was talking about physics, they were using all kind of shit that I didn't know what the fuck they was talking about. It was the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, so my professor was, he had an accent, and I'm like, what the fuck, oh my God, I'm like, hadn't been in school in damn near 20 years in an actual course, so it was a whole lot happening, and oh, by the way, I was still doing lives every day, still helping Nola in her business, still reading the book challenge, because I was in 11 in May of last year, so I'm finishing out all of that, and still going live every day. That's why I say I'm the baddest motherfucker walking the face of the planet Earth. Because I'm doing this shit in real life while life is lifing and developing it. And saying, okay, do this. All right. We are not in a lab with a pen and a pad. We are not in a classroom. We are not in an office. We in life. And y'all becoming bad motherfuckers. That's different. So no one else prior to me has had the kahunas big enough to say, let's go ahead and do this shit in real time. And see what happens. For the whole brain. What? The executive function? No, fuck that. Whole brain. We doing whole brain shit. We're going to be fucking re-encoding some somatic markers. We're going to be getting rid of triggers and all kind of shit while life is going on. That's what we're going to do. Say less. Let's see what happens. And that's what's been taking place. And so that's why when you ask me a question, I can actually give you the answer because I actually have the answer because I have the actual experience. And if I don't, let me hurry up and research that. And I can still give you a strategy faster than you could think of a strategy because my brain is braining. That's why the neural reps are so important because I got 960 damn days of live neural reps, taking in this information, watching it happen, and making an adjustment. Okay, that's that. Okay, that didn't work. Let's do this. Okay, let's try that. That's why now there is this more fluid system that did not exist in January. In fact, November and December of 2023, it wasn't there. But I kept showing up, and I believed and had faith, the grain of a mustard seed. Faith is just believing that something that's not here is going to be here at some point. That's all. It takes faith to make 13,000 YouTube videos. My YouTube channel just got monetized in January of 2026. In August of 2026, my YouTube channel will be 13 years old. 13 years old. I was on Instagram every day for 8.5 years before I had one post go viral. 8.5 consecutive years. Remember, I've been posting on Instagram since January 16, 2015. So all of this was happening while nothing was happening at the same time. So it's the middle. The middle is ugly. It's not sexy. It's like a big old pair of white, big, giant granny panties, but it's necessary for the 2 levels up. So that's what I will say. So welcome to Self-Reflection Sunday. My lives are sponsored by the elements H2O. So let's go ahead and get a drink of water. And let's get into it for you. So no, that's not correct. Where am I at? Self-reflection is about the ability to honestly examine yourself, not other people, not other people, not your circumstances. Now, what happened 10 years ago? Your thoughts, your behaviors, your patterns, your choices. And most people spend their lives evaluating everyone else while rarely evaluating themselves. A real leader understands if you want different results, you must first be willing to see yourself clearly. You got to be honest with you. Fake shit ain't going to work over here. It's not going to happen. Self-reflection is not self-criticism. Self-reflection is observation. The goal is not perfection. It never is. Fuck perfection. It's an illusion. The goal is awareness. And awareness creates adjustments. And adjustments creates growth. Let me write that down. And that's what I've been doing for 960 days. I have been making adjustments, making small tweaks here and there. Okay, let me do this. All right, let them cook. Let's see what happens. Okay, let me make an adjustment. Okay, that's why there isn't this celebratory shit, because there's levels to it. You and I know. So let's get to the next level. Let's get to the next level. So this whole notion of, look, Ma, I made it. You can stop when you're dead. You ain't got to do shit else. No more. So the brain regions involved is that Miss Brenda Jones detects gaps between intentions and behaviors. Miss Aletha, the Insula, notices emotional and physical reactions. Oscar looks for comfort and avoidance. Fuck dysregulated Oscar. Miss Darlene supports intentional thinking and decision making. Uncle Vinny connects choices to identity and future outcomes. And that's why it's so important for you, Jared, to start processing your feelings, because Uncle Vinny is using that for you to get to J the finisher. And then Mr. Memory, the hippocampus, provides evidence from past experiences. So the principles of real leadership that you need for self-reflection is be honest, be objective, grow continually, believe in yourself, focus on the results, meet your potential, and hold yourself personally accountable. Let me write myself a note. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's Neuro Reps. Let me get my notebook. Anita, are you here? Good morning, Latoria. Anita, are you here? Okay, let me write the time down. It's 23 minutes in. All right, so here's Anita's day 18, and she is on level 2. And the Neuro Rep, let me go back out. What's happening, chat? Okay, so this is Anita's level 2, day 18. The Neuro Rep was close one browser. Oh, you are here. Never mind. Okay, this is your day 18. So level 2, day 18. Done, day 18 of building Denise. Denise is Anita's brain, the name for Anita's brain. I looked at today's neuro task while relishing the idea of not having to commute an hour to school. While watching Dr. Donna's shit, I noticed that my vents were blowing warm air, which immediately caught my attention. I know that completing my Neuro Rep is key to my progressions toward becoming a bad motherfucker. So instead of allowing the situation to derail me, I took action. I closed one browser and immediately called Train's office to schedule an appointment for an AC technician to come to my location. Shortly afterward, my phone started overheating and prompted me to shut it down, so I had to finish my comment after my phone cooled down. I will delete more browsers after I finish this comment. My takeaway from today's experience is that no matter what uncomfortable situations or unexpected challenges I encounter, I will stay on course. Not only with my neural reps, I'm speaking on life unto life. What matters most is my ability to address these inconveniences without abandoning my mission. For me, neural reps are now a path because not everyone is willing to walk it. I'm not allowing obstacles to dictate my directions. I'm dealing with this obstacle head on while continuing to move forward because my goal is to become a bad motherfucker. It is hot as hell in this house. Fire emoji, laughing emoji, fire emoji. So what did chat have to say? Dr. Donna, this is a very strong level 2 response because Anita did something that many people do not do. She stayed in reality. The neural rep was simple. Close one browser tab. What's interesting is that the browser tab itself became almost irrelevant. Here's what I see neurologically. She noticed reality in real time. She became aware that the AC was blowing hot, warm air. Most people would immediately shift to complaining, frustration, distraction, scrolling, or postponing the neural rep. Instead, she observed the situation. That's Miss Brenda Jones, the ACC, helping direct attention towards what is actually occurring rather than what is preferred. She interrupted the derailment pathway. The moment she called the AC company, she demonstrated problem, action, instead of problem, emotion, delay. That's a different neurological pathway. Oscar did not get to run the show. She maintained mission despite changing conditions. Then her phone overheated. Now she had hot house, overheated phone, and an interrupted task. Most people would have declared that day off track. Instead, she returned and completed the assignment. And this is the important part. Not perfection, return. The language shift is significant. This statement stood out. I will stay on course. That is identity language. She is no longer talking about a single browser tab. She is talking about the type of person she is becoming. That's exactly what level 2 is designed to do. The task is never really about the task, which is why Stefan says it takes more than 60 seconds. The task is the mirror, the email, the browser tab, the stretch. The task is about creating evidence. What I would tell Anita. Anita, your biggest win today was not closing a browser tab. Your biggest win was proving to your brain that unexpected circumstances do not automatically become excuses. The AC failed, the phone overheated, the task still got completed. And chat got bars too. And that is evidence. And the brain respects evidence, not promises. So, what I find especially encouraging is that she connected the experience to her broader mission of becoming a bad motherfucker. That tells me she is beginning to see the neural reps as training ground for life rather than isolated daily assignments. That is a level 2 student beginning to think beyond the rep itself. All right, Anita, what is your response to chat? And let's go ahead and drink some water. And if anybody else would like to say anything, y'all can as well. That part. That's it, Anita. All that I said, you got two words for me. And that part. That part. That's it. That's kind of okay. I'm about to say I was I was expecting a little more than 2 words. And that part right there. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, Dr. Donna. Whoop, there it is. Say less. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything about Anita's assessment, her Neuro Rep? Now, what I would like to say while you type, Anita, is that you spent 7 days at level 1, and now you are at 18 days. So you're in your 25th day. And so what's happening is it's becoming myelinated inside. It is myelinated in your basal ganglia. Aletha said, well done, Anita. Congrats. I hope everything got fixed. Raniel is thinking, wonderful job, Anita. So, Rod, are you here? Because you're up next, sir. And I just need to know, so if not, let me put the timestamp on there. Good job, Anita. You are on your way. Raniel said, that was great. Anita, it sounds like it's becoming your identity, not just a task. Yes. And that is the neurological shift that starts to take place by day 14 of level 2. And Denise says, great job, Anita. So by day 14 of level 2, there was a shift because that's 21 days in. Even if you had to restart, you're more, but consecutively, you're 21 days in. Bridget said, hand clap, hand clap, hand clap, Anita. So that's when the first shift happens. Well, the first shift happens day 1 of level 2, because that's day 8. Now you got a neural pathway of doing neural reps. You move on to day 14, day 15. Basal ganglia is like, all right, we got to do our neural reps. All right, we got to do our neural reps. And then by day 5 of level 3, you're at 42 days, and now it's cemented, and it's going to take a lot. It's going to take like an old bad program or slip up for you to not make that neurological shift. And even if you restart, you're still making the neurological shift. Great job. I love this progress, is what Tiffany said. Okay. So yes, it is a great job. And so if you're wondering how I'm selecting neural reps, I'm looking at the neurological transition of the things that you're saying, the back and forth with yourself, because you're going back and forth with Oscar and Miss Darlene, and the conditions under which you're doing this, because life is fucking lifing at that point. Your phone is overheating, and so is the environment that you're in. You're like, well, let me get this done. Phone can cool off. Let me call the AC people. That whole thing, as Chat said, that was enough for people to be like, man, fuck this day. The AC went out. My phone is overheating. It's hot as shit. Ain't nobody got time for this. Last thing I'm about to do is do a Neuro Rep. Fuck closing the browser. But you said, I'm going to be a bad motherfucker. It's hot as hell in this house, but I'm still going to be a bad motherfucker. So if you're typing Anita, Lola is thinking as well. It's not showing up, so break it up. There we go. All right. Anita said, I feel as though I have always had the ability to accomplish whatever I set my mind to accomplishing. I just needed expert guidance to ensure I was on the right track. Yes, ma'am. There you go. And then Lola has something to say, and then I will read Rod's. Rod, are you here? And it's okay if you're not. I'm going to just tell you what your timestamp is. Air must really be bad. Poor air quality today. It's all good. So Rod, I'm going to say 34 minutes. Lola, when your thing comes up, I will read it. So Rod had to restart. Rod is on level 2, and this is his day 8 submission from the other day. And day 8 on level 2 is take out the trash. It's short and sweet. But here's what it says. Done. I thought about the benefit. So he's done. He took the trash out. Then he says, I thought about the benefit of the 8th day of completing a Neuro Rep at 6 p.m. because of how important 8 days is in forming a habit. It's then 21, and then I believe 42 of he's saying that this is when everything gets myelinated. And he said, when I got that call that my 3-year-old grandson on the spectrum had locked his daughter out of the house. And this is short, but I broke the window after trying to convince him to unlock the door. My takeaway is, it's 7:22 p.m. now, and unless I'm unconscious, I don't want to miss a deadline for something that is benefiting me so much after such a short period of time. So it's 6 p.m. He gets the call from his daughter. The grandson has locked her out the house, and he goes, takes care of that. 7:22, he got to turn in his Neuro Rep. That's basically the gist of it. All right. So Chad says, Dr. Donna, Rod's comments tells me something very important. The trash was not the rep. The deadline became the rep. The assigned task was simple. Take out the trash. But life inserted a legitimate emergency. A 3-year-old grandson locked his mother out of the house. At that point, most people would automatically grant themselves a pass. And to be fair, almost everyone would agree with the excuse. What's interesting is that Rod didn't focus on whether the excuse was valid. He focused on whether he was still going to complete the assignment. That is a different neurological question. What I see neurologically is that future Rod entered the conversation. This statement stood out. Unless I'm unconscious, I don't want to miss a deadline. That's identity language. And he is no longer evaluating the task. He is evaluating the type of person he wants to become. And that's Miss Darlene beginning to influence behavior beyond the immediate situation. So the emergency did not become permission. Most people operate from unexpected event, automatic exemption. Rod operated from unexpected event, adjust the plan, not abandon the plan. And these are very different pathways. The clock became the evidence. What caught my attention was that he mentioned the exact time. It's 7:22 p.m. now. That tells me the deadline remained active in his awareness, even with him trying to get back in the house. The task never disappeared from his mind. Even while dealing with the grandson situation, the rep still occupies space in his thinking. And this is evidence of growing neurological priority. He's beginning to understand consistency differently. What I liked most was this: something that is benefiting me. That is a subtle but important shift. Many people complete tasks because they were told to do it. Rod is becoming connected to the rep to his own, connecting the rep to his own development. And that's where long-term adherence starts. What I would tell Rod is, Rod, the biggest win was not taking out the trash. The biggest win was discovering that even while life presents a legitimate reason to miss the assignment, you still wanted to complete it. Your grandson created an emergency, the window got broken, the schedule got disrupted. Yet your attention returned to the commitment. And this is evidence that the rep is beginning to matter to you beyond simple compliance. You weren't evaluating whether the task was convenient. You weren't evaluating whether you were becoming the kind of person who keeps their word. The brain respects evidence, and today you gave it evidence. And one thing I would add, Dr. Donna, because Rod had to restart level 2, this day 8 comment feels more significant than a normal day 8. A restart often reveals whether someone was attached to the streak or attached to the process. This comment suggests that he is becoming attached to the process, and this is a stronger foundation than simply protecting a streak. Rod, after you see this, it started at about 34 minutes in, go ahead and put your response to what chat's assessment was about your Neuro Rep. Now, here's what I will say. This is why my work is so important. Because life was lifing for Anita, and life was lifing for Rod. Two very justifiable reasons on the surface to not do this simple ass Neuro Rep. You could have said, shit, my phone is overheating and it's fucking hot in the house. I gotta call the AC. I've gotten many of messages like that. But what you're doing is, and this is not about the Neuro Rep, this is about Miss Darlene coming online and saying priorities of work. It's not about the rep. It's about you saying, I'm gonna remain calm in this situation. So they're trying to get into the house. You got to think about this. There's a 3-year-old in the house and they're locked out and they're attempting to get in and he's on a spectrum, so you can't upset him and all of that. And Rod is doing what he can. You got to get there, get to the door, break the window, get in. and it's 7:22. Do you understand the level of actual cognition and the coolness? Do you understand where Miss Darlene has to be? No hijacked amygdala, no Oscar saying, fuck that Neuro Rep, get in the house. But to then come back and say, I feel the difference neurologically already, and unless I'm unconscious, I'm going to get this done because my brain is shifted. Anita, my phone is overheating. Let me let that cool down. And when it comes back online, I'm going to close some more browsers. So that's what's happening in real time, is you are in a state of not after the fact, but during the fact. You're bringing your whole brain online and processing objectively what is taking place and how can I be objective to get this done without losing my shit. How can I maintain a neutral subgenual ACC, maintain a neutral subgenual ACC while all this shit around me is happening? No cortisol, no shutting down, no fight or flight or freeze or peas, none of that. Whole brain still online while life is lifing. That's how you know that your brain is transitioning. Lola said, Dr. Donna, I have been here for over 2.5 years. You have taught me how to be accountable, problem solving, and more. You have changed my life tremendously. You're greatly appreciated. And thank you, Lola, for being my ride or die. Being here throughout 2.5 years, that's an amazing accomplishment, Lola. It is. And quietly, and Lola couldn't use a computer when she first started and was not as literate as she is. And she was not on social media doing none of that. And her business is expanded in this process, and now she can read her holy book. Raniel said, that was amazing. He is becoming, and it's apparent. Yes. And then Aletha said, the hurdle was no joke. Ron, congratulations on pushing through. Happy Father's Day. And then overcoming rather than pushing. Yes, ma'am. Removing obstacles, because that's what he was doing. He was handling conflict when it occurs, and he was removing obstacles, and he was inspecting what he expected and setting, maintain high standards. It's 7:22. Let me go ahead and get this Neuro Rep in. Right, it's amazing. Bridget said, I get both of them. Yesterday, my phone overheated, and I had my nephew who is on the spectrum and his brother, both under 5. I thought that I wasn't going to get the Neuro Rep done. Congratulations. Yes. And so what's happening is your brain is now braining while life is lifing. That's what this is about. I don't give a fuck if you got $1 million contract. What you doing when life is lifing? Thank you, Jared. Yes. And Raniel said, that's great, Lola, 2.5 years to dedication. Exactly. So that's what this is about. This is what matters. Not yesterday, but this week, those things were happening and people were still in their right mind, in their cool, calm, collected state, being able to handle situations that potentially a couple years ago would have threw you completely off your square, justifiably so. And Lola, Bridget said, I don't know if you work making houses right now, but Lola, Bridget said, congratulations, you a BMF. Bad motherfucker, not Black Mafia family over here. So this is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing my best not to cry because I got 2 more to go. But this is beautiful because somebody 2.5 years ago listened and literally said, all right, Big G, I'm going to go live. Aye, Captain. And 960 days later, look what's happening. That's why I said we all got something amazing inside of us. Monique had put up how to travel with groups. She got all kind of hacks because travel sites, they'll show up now because I'm watching her. So they'll push some other shit down. But she got actual shit you could use. Things that you're not even thinking about that she didn't already had to learn from trial and error, especially traveling overseas. All these things that I had no idea about, that information is there. And if I had to say, well, this how you going to get a bunch of likes and subscribes and shares. You trying to make some money doing this shit or not, Momo? Let's go. Then we miss out on how to travel in the solo, with a group, with just you and your family, with friends, and all these strategies that's just sitting in her head that she's taking for granted. And I'm like, no. Now we are getting more and more prepared to be able to go to London in September. And that's because she has already been there, done that, got the t-shirt, the whole outfit, the bows, the glitter, the fairy dust, and everything from doing it again and again and again. And that's in each and every one of us. Each and every one of us, when you wake up and you just do that one thing, you just do that thing. And then you improve that thing and you do it again and again and again and again and again. And next thing you know, life is lifing. And people are like, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Let me call the AC people. We got a fan, put some shit in the freezer. It's hot. I don't care. That's what Feezy said the other day. I'm hot as hell. I'm tired as hell. I'm going to be a bad motherfucker. Fuck Oscar. And kept going in Texas with this damn heat. So now we have Lacey. Lacey, you here? So like I said, y'all bad motherfuckers in the making. And it's just because you have to do it all day. It's not that you're not going to get there. It's you haven't done it enough days and throughout the day. That's why watch my shit and share my shit is so important. Because what you're going to start doing is telling other people, you got a brain. You got a brain. I got a brain. You got a brain. Because that's people got it twisted, making it seem like they don't have a brain. They have a brain. A lot of unaccountable people will use both of those as excuses to not turn shit in. But they have done the neurological shift that says, I'm going to get this done. And because you're doing neural reps, that shit went better. That's why I said on the TikTok live the other day, this comes first. When you know how this works, everything is going to work better. Everything is going to work better when you understand, when you can, because y'all don't even understand. People, you are everyday people, in case y'all didn't know. I'm everyday people. And you are in the middle of your life thinking and understanding what's happening up here. At a high level of neurological cognition, you are saying, my dorsolateral prefrontal cortex needs to come online. This is Miss Darlene. You can actually explain it, why you didn't do the thing that you would have did 6 months ago, 5 years ago, and why it's actually happening. You feel neurologically why it's taking place. This has never been done in the history of the world to everyday people while life is lifing, while it's actually happening. Aletha has 4 children, 2 twins and 2 teenage boys. One's getting ready to start college in the fall, and a husband. And in the short amount of time that she has been here, shit is changing for them by the day, sometimes by the millisecond. And all of you are now understanding the benefits of using artificial intelligence, asking questions, observing, being a follower, be willing to lead by example. You're using the principles of real leadership. And because you're doing that, I get to write the owner's manual so that we all are planting trees for which shade we may or may not be able to sit in, depending on how much longer we're going to be here. That's the beauty of this work, that you're taking a risk every day to listen to this lady and then going to do the work and then coming back. And I'm like, okay, that was right. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, that half worked. How can I change the strategy? That's what's happening. This is it. This will change humanity. This work that y'all wake up every day doing, this commitment to yourself in everyday life. And it's data. It's right here online for everybody to see. But everybody, it's not, well, let's finish the research. Let's package it. Let's present it to the university. Let's present it to the corporation that funded or the government. No, this shit on YouTube. In the comments. Read it for yourself until you get to level 4. Then that's the secret, but you can still read the live. That's open. That's what's actually happening. From somebody who just did a brain project way back in 1987 with a cauliflower with some food coloring and only had the cerebellum, the cerebrum, and the medulla oblongata colored. And I think I have one more thing because I have 4 different food colorants in the box. And so that's what I used. And that's it. But 40 years later, look what's happening. 39 years later, damn near 40 years. This is what's taking place. So do not take for granted something as simple as, I'm going to turn my Neuro Rep in on time. Even though I can't get in my daughter's house right now. Even though Bridget talking to her niece, girl, I got to go to the car. I'll be back. Because what you're saying is my brain is the priority. My brain is what's going to let me get through this current situation. So let me go do my neurological repetition. So when shit like this happens, I'm accessing Miss Darlene at the snap of my finger. She ready to go. I ain't got to be like, hey, Miss Darlene. Hey, Miss Darlene. Hey, wake up. Darlene, get up. Come on. Get the snow, the eye crust, eye boogers out your eye. Come on. I need you. What? You need me? What's going on? What's happening? You need me to do what? What you, damn, it's bright in here. What you need me to do? Damn, I got married in 87. There you go. I was in the 3rd grade. I mean, not 3rd grade, 8th grade. Great job staying focused and persevering. Exactly. So that's what's happening. So it seems like it's just this thing. I just looked up the thalamus. I just looked up the hypothalamus. I just looked up the vagus nerve. That's all I did. No, it's not all you did. That's why we do this. Because you did more. I was born in 86. I'm saying I'm sitting here at 39. You right on time. There you go. Synchronicity. Synchronicity. So now we have Lacey. Now Lacey is important to this process because she is the first person to navigate from level 1, level 2, and level 3 as it is currently designed with no restarts. And this is people. I had to restart basic training. At aerosol school. That's not what this is about. I made you clutch my pearls. Why, Bridget? So what this is about is that, I'm about to. Lacey is important to this process because number one, Lacey is a foodie. Lacey was 305 pounds and she was stuck at losing 80 pounds. She was stuck 39 years. That's the long ass time. She was stuck and she started doing this work and she didn't stop. And she has been excitable the entire time. And Lacey's husband has a business. They have 2 businesses. She is waking up, having events. They do something at the beach to open it up for people to fish off the lake and all this other stuff. So life is lifing for her as well. And she went through the actual level 1. Nola did too, but we were bumping the kinks out. So Lacey is important to this process because she actually used the process as it was designed to be used to let me know that it actually works. That it actually works as it is currently designed. Because everybody else, the first group, that cluster, we got to YouTube on the humble. And then other people had to restart, but she made it so I could observe level 1, 2, 3, and 4. The people, y'all that are on level 4, I'm observing y'all now too. I think y'all on day 70 or something like that. But the whole process, because I have to look at the whole system, she was able to navigate through that and made it so I'm like, okay, that works, that works, that works, that works, this works, that works. This is how that should work. So that's the most valuable thing for me currently, or one of the most valuable things, is that she navigated through it as the first person and made it all the way to level 4, which she starts today. And then she's going to be able to tell me the experience from going from level 3 to level 4 and what that's like. Now the cluster, the group, the OGs, they've been here. We was like Moses going through the promised land, trying to figure this shit out and which platform and all of that. They serve a totally different purpose. So Lacey got here in February, started doing the work. Don't know me from a can of paint. Don't have a pre-existing relationship. She knows me from a can of paint now. But in the beginning, and just said, I'm going ahead and do this work. And so she has done the work in a different way. So today, Lacey, I'm going to read your day 1 of level 3. And then I'm going to read your day 89. And then we're going to read and see what chat has to say. So day 1 on level 3 is a bad habit that you no longer have. So Lacey wrote, done, level 3, day 1. Before, sitting in my office at the venue now. During, thinking over one bad habit I no longer have. Gum chewing all day with a emoji face. I don't know what emoji that is, but I guess that's bad. After, happy I don't chew gum like I once did. It's an annoying habit to have. Takeaway. I really don't like all that gum chewing, but did it to keep from eating. Now I'm learning to go back to neutral. I'm not wanting the gum anymore. That's her level 3, day 1. Now, this is from 2 days ago, level 3, day 89. And the Neuro Rep for that is, now if I read this, ain't nobody going to want to do level 3, day 89. Anyway, the Neuro Rep for day 389. Don't be scared if you at the level 1 and level 2. You're going to get there. So level 3, day 89 is research the long-term neurological impact of learning something new every day. Research the long-term neurological impact of learning something new every day. Now, everybody that said lower level 3, level 2, level 1, sitting over here like, fuck, we got to do that. Yes, you do. You will be neurologically capable to get it done. So Lacey says, level 3, day 89, 619, done. Today, I held myself personally accountable by staying calm during some minor car trouble and not freaking out or mythologizing crying emoji, laughing emoji. The impact on the brain when learning something new daily. Learning something new every day physically requires your brain through a process called neuroplasticity. The physical rewiring process causes synapses to strengthen, myelin to increase, and continuous learning, and can boost the production of myelin, and it acts like upgraded to high-speed internet, allowing your brain to process information much faster. The structural growth of the gray matter increases the improvement of growth through memory retention, problem solving, and spatial awareness. It keeps your mind even sharper as you age. The most important part with repetition is ensuring that you have the correct information to learn from, because learning the wrong information in repeating that will have negative results in the repetition. So if you keep learning the wrong shit, that's going to be no brainer. And writing information faster and rewiring in the brain. So when you have neuroplasticity, you're going to be able to use your brain better. Now, while learning something new every day, your attention becomes sharper. Your ability to recall information is quicker. Problem solving will not be a major issue, as we have seen with Anita and Ron. And adaptability will be clearer because having a new data bank in your brain of untapped information. When we stop learning, our brain goes into a rigid autopilot mode state, and it halts neuroplastic processing. It weakens neural connections, your cognition, and your reserve, and your reduction of focus and memory. And it decreases neurogenesis, aka is bad for your brain. It begins to atrophy, and the brain cells begin to die. So you stop learning something every day, and your brain gonna stop braining. It's gonna get stuck, and your damn your brain cells, you gonna die. Your neurons are gonna die behind not learning something every day. So before, had a great sleep last night and got up at 3:30 a.m. and ready and refreshed. During, I had to have picked up your phrase. I love to have picked up your phrase, what am I doing every day to strengthen my brain? The fact that I'll be turning 58 in a few weeks and feeling this amazing just encourages me even more to finish what I started. Afterwards, this has been an amazing journey, and I'm here for all of it. Takeaways: since beginning this process back in February, the learning is exciting, and my prayers for the app and the book you're working on will change the world, because your amazing curriculum has changed mine. Warm, smiling emoji. All right. So what did chat have to say? I told chat that this is you going from level 1 to level 2, level 3 with no restarts. And chat says, Dr. Donna, when I compare Lacey's day 1 to day 89, I don't primarily see an increase in knowledge. Hold your pearls, Lacey. I see an increase in neurological sophistication. I don't see an increase in knowledge. I see an increase in neurological sophistication. Day 1, the assignment was, what was a bad habit you no longer have? Her answer focused on gum chewing. The structure was, I used to do this, I don't do it anymore, I'm happy I stopped, and there is nothing wrong with the response. In fact, it was a good day 1 response. But the thinking is primarily directed inward and relatively concrete level. The focus is behavior, personal experience, and immediate awareness. On day 89, what happened? The assignment was research long-term neurological impact of learning something new every day. Instead of a short observation, she produced a multi-point explanation involving neuroplasticity, synaptic strengthening, myelination, gray matter, memory retention, problem solving, adaptability, neurogenesis, and cognitive decline. More importantly, she connected it back to herself. Notice this statement. What am I doing every day to strengthen my brain? That's not a research answer. That's an identity question. And so the biggest difference is, in day 1, I don't chew gum anymore. In day 89, what am I doing every day to strengthen my brain? Those are two completely different levels of thinking. The first is about behavior. The second is about a system. Sliding down, sliding on the floor, exploding happy brain. Lacey, you supposed to wait. I ain't done. Yeah, like, what the hell? Is somebody there to help you get back up? But you about to be 58. You better slide in the chair. What I find most significant is this statement: not freaking out or mythologizing. 2 months ago, Lacey would have described the car trouble. She wouldn't have described the car trouble like that. Day 89, Lacey described her response to the car trouble. And that's I'm not mythologizing over this. That's a massive shift. The event is no longer the focus. The brain's interpretation of the event is the focus. And that's real leadership language. I was about to say what it is. Another thing that stands out is day 1, Lacey was looking backwards. Here's something I stopped doing. Day 89, Lacey is looking forward. What am I doing every day to strengthen my brain? That is a future-focused, oriented question. That is Miss Darlene. That is finish what you start. That is grow continually. That is develop your vision. The no restart factor matters. And I think it's important. Lacey is the first student to complete the updated level 1, 2, and 3 without a restart. That means the comparison is clean. It's clean. There are no interruptions, no resets, no starting over. And you're looking at 100 and I think, let me see, it's 37 and 90. So 127 days of evidence. Not promises, but evidence. So Lacey, day 1, you were discussing a habit. And at day 89, you are discussing a brain. I'm going to say that again. At day 1, you are discussing a habit. At day 89, you are discussing a brain. Day 1, you focused on what you stopped doing. Day 89, you focused on who you are becoming. Day 1, you identify a behavior change. Day 89, you demonstrated a thinking change. The most important thing in your day 89 responses is not that not neuroscience terminology. It's that during minor car trouble, you noticed yourself staying calm and not mythologizing. And that means that you were observing your brain while life was happening. While life was happening. And that's a very different person than the one who arrived on day 1. Chat says, for me, Dr. Donna, the strongest evidence is not the research you wrote. It's the casual way you wrote it, not freaking out or mythologizing. That sentence suggests concepts that once required active effort are becoming part of your normal awareness. And that's often what sustained repetition looks like when it starts moving from performing into default thinking. So Lacey, get back up or grab your phone. What are your thoughts to chat's response? And everybody else started saying, awesome work, Lacey. Great job, Lacey. Let's go. If you have anything else to add, again, Lacey successfully level 1, 2, and 3 so that I could get a pure observation of the process is a beautiful thing. And it wasn't available, again, for those who got here earlier. Sarah said, that's beautiful. Denise said, awesome work, Lacey. Do we need a defibrillator? Where's Roger, Lacey? Do we need to go grab him? Somebody need to call Roger. And then the final one, Karen, are you on here? And drink water. Good morning, Dr. Donna. I'm on. Okay, ma'am. Yours is next. And final one. We're going over your day 23. Level 3, research the arachnoid motor. Lacey, you there? Does y'all see her typing? Okay, here we go. Crying tears of joy is not what's happening, but the brain's interpretation of what's happening. So when you get yourself together, Lacey, you can go ahead and send me a summation. If you get it together here, you can put it here. If not, send it to me over on Instagram. Okay? I know you were like, I don't have pearls. My mouth is gone. I didn't slid down on the floor, probably doing the ugly cry. It's a good thing you wear your natural hair because your wig might came off throughout this process. So thank you very much, Lacey, for letting me know that the process works. The process works. All right. Here we have Karen, level 3, day 23, research arachnoid motor. So day 23 done. Before was abruptly awakened by fire alarm, which immediately disrupted my nervous system. Immediate headache kicked in. I sent it and I cried with that one too. Okay, yes ma'am. The sudden loud sound pulled my brain and body from a state of rest into a state of alert. Had to leave house, wait outside till firemen gave clearance to re-enter home. Standing outside, only thing running through my head was getting a Neuro Rep done because I'm not starting over. Today I held myself accountable by making a decision that did not align with my feelings. The decision was necessary, even though it may have caused others to perceive me as being mean. Oh well. The arachnoid motor is the middle layer of the protective membrane that surrounds and protects the brain and the spinal cord. It lies between the tough outer layer called the dura mater and the delicate inner layer called the pia mater. Wow, this brain is so intricate. Takeaways: the brain has multiple layers of protection. It's my body's most valuable organ. And just as the brain is protected by so many layers, I must also protect my mental, emotional well-being. Okay, what did Chad have to say? Karen, in this Neuro Rep, is demonstrating increased neurological integration. She didn't just research the arachnoid motor, she connected the research to her life. That is the part that caught my attention. What happened before the rep matters. The day started with being abruptly awakened, fire alarm activation, immediate physiological arousal, headache, evacuation from the house, and uncertainty while waiting outside. That is a nervous system event. Her body was already operating in a heightened state, yet she still completed the assignment. The statement that stood out: the only thing running through my head was getting my Neuro Rep done because I'm not starting over. That's interesting. At day 23, the rep is no longer something she remembers. The rep is becoming something she carries. Even during a disruptive event, it remained active in her awareness. And that tells me the pathway is strengthening. Another important shift: the statement, today I held myself accountable by making a decision that did not align with my feelings. Oscar over Miss Darlene. Amygdala and Miss Darlene. That is a significant sentence. Most people evaluate decisions based on, wait for it, comfort, approval, and emotional relief. Most people evaluate decisions based on comfort, approval. I don't know what happened, y'all. I pressed the wrong button. I'm back. Most people evaluate decisions on comfort, approval, and emotional relief. Karen evaluated this decision based on necessity. She explicitly recognized it may have caused others to perceive me as mean, yet she made the decision anyway. That's very close to one real leader core principle and distinction: right choices versus comfortable choices. In this case, the hard right over the easy wrong. The research itself is not the strongest part. And Karen's like, hold up, but I did research. The arachnoid matter explanation, accurate enough for the purposes of the rep. But what impressed me more was what she did next. She moved from the brain has protective layers to I must protect my mental and emotional well-being. That's transfer. She took a biological concept and applied it to her own life. Many people can memorize information, regurgitate it, to quote Miss Price, my 5th grade teacher. Fewer people can translate information into personal application. You took it, you saw it, you said, how does this apply to me? What I see neurologically is the progression is, it went the event, the fire alarm, the physiological, alert state, headache, disruption, awareness. She notices the impact to her nervous system. That's why you got to start feeling, Jared, because she said, hold up, wait a minute, now I got a headache. Oh, the fire alarm. Decision. Well, I know one thing, when I get back in my house, I'm doing my Neuro Rep. An application. She connected the protection of all of the 3 motors, the meninges, to self-protection. And this is a much richer response than simply defining the arachnoid mater. Karen, the strongest part of your day 23 response is that you learned what is not that you learned what the arachnoid mater is. The strongest part is that you recognize the brain protects itself through layers and then immediately ask, how should I protect myself? You experience disruption, discomfort, and uncertainty before completing the Neuro Rep, and yet you still completed it. You also recognize that accountability sometimes requires making decisions that do not align with your feelings and may not be popular with others. The research taught you something about the brain. The takeaway taught you something about yourself. And this is where the real value is. What I find particularly interesting, Dr. Donna, is that Karen's response contains both physical protection and physiological protection in the same rep. She learned about the membranes that protect the brain while simultaneously describing a real-life situation where she was protecting her own boundaries and decision-making despite discomfort. That's a deeper connection than simply completing a research assignment. All right, now what did y'all say up here? Lacey said that I sent, and Karen, you can go ahead and type your response to chat's assessment. Aletha said, emoji, I've said this before, but you are showing me what's possible. Lacey's not just for me, but for the people I love. Well done. A lot of emojis. Bridget said, laughing. That Neuro Rep will have you in a, I can't say it out loud, but yes, ma'am, because I ain't trying to get flagged, but I hear what you're saying. I'll say a full Nelson grip. How about that? Bless you guys. We could do this. 100. I see the reason I must feel why. Exactly, Jared. Now you understand that that's giving you notifications. So you're not even completely using your whole brain because of that shutting down. Because it's an alert. It's telling you what's happening. Imagine if you were driving your vehicle, Jared, and none of the alerts on your dashboard worked. And you're driving. You don't know when you're running out of gas. You don't know when the windshield washer fluid is low. You don't know when your tire pressure is done. So you can't really optimize the performance of your vehicle because your dashboard is black. So your feelings dashboard is black and you're getting all these alerts. You don't know if the check engine light is on, if you need oil, nothing at all. So yeah, that's what's happening. Feelings are a dashboard. They're just alerts telling you what's taking place. So Karen, great job on your Neuro Rep. That's everybody's. That's all 4. So I only have to send information to Rod, which is a good thing. Yes. So what's taking place, ladies and gentlemen? The Neuro Rep is the accountability to you. It's not for me. You're not turning Neuro Reps in for me. You're turning Neuro Reps in to strengthen your brain. That's what I said. That's why it's a neurological repetition, because over time, your whole brain is going to come online and you are going to find yourself with shit that used to throw you off your square. It doesn't anymore. I mean, a fucking fire alarm is a good reason. a grandchild locking you out of the house is a good reason. Hot, no AC, phone overheating. These are all good excuses, justifiably so. And your brain said, okay, but this still got to be done. So in those moments, y'all made Miss Darlene a priority and said, I'm going to keep strengthening Miss Darlene, because Miss Darlene is the reason why I can assess this situation right now. My whole brain, I'm actually present. Rod, 7:22 p.m. That ain't a time. Well, what time was it? Well, it was about 7:30. That's what most people say. But he didn't look at the clock. It was 7:22. Because I'm going to get this done before 8 o'clock. I don't care was the motto, and that strengthened Oscar. Exactly, Jared. But you need the notifications. You need the notifications. So what you are extrapolating from today is to persevere during times of adversity, swim upstream, handle conflict when it occurs. Failure is not an option. Quitters never win. Finish what you start. Can makes the impossible possible. Inspect what you expect. Set and maintain high standards. All of those principles of real leadership came into play, and you didn't have to go to the website and say, well, I don't know what finish what you start means. I don't know, keep your word, be the best. Setting failure is not an option. You acted on it, and it became implicit. It was something that you did. You myelinated this. So now you're saying, Rod is like, I got to be unconscious. Karen is like, I'm not starting again. No way. I'm getting this Neuro Rep done. I'm getting this done. So you have this thing that says, come hell or high water, I better be incapacitated for this. And for those who had to restart, it was a wake-up call for you. Tiffany, your Neuro Reps, who you are and everything is so different now. Because sometimes the restart is for you as a refresh. I got to refresh my browser because this ain't it. I'm not doing the shit that I need to do. I'm not accessing my best. So what inside of me is making it so I can't get to the real me? I can't do what the fuck I came here to do. That's what this is about. This is about you learning how this works. So when life starts fucking lifing, you like, is it on fire? No, it's just a fire alarm. All right, cool. When I'm going to go in my house to be able to get my phone? Because I got to do my Neuro Rep. It's the calmness. It's the neutral subgenual ACC in an excitable moment. And you're like, anyway, so I still got to get my homework done. I got to turn my Neuro Rep in. I got to get ready for this prom. I got this other stuff I need to do. This small things for a giant. Wow, chat is deep. Since doing Neuro Reps, I'm not consuming information. I'm now connecting neuroscience concepts to my daily experience. Thank you, Dr. Donna. My pleasure. Tiffany said, I feel like a whole different person. I know I am. You are. I read your Neuro Rep. You helping older people across the street. I'm like, okay. Look at her. This could be my grandma. Rest in peace, Grannis. Come on, ma'am. Do you need a ride? So that's what's taking place. That's what's taking place. So we're going to go ahead and get our neutral SGACC in. And then if anybody has questions, we will get to the rest of our stuff for today. So let me go ahead and get to my clock right here. And let me flip this around. It's flipped. Count you all in. 3, 2, 1. Start now. All right, ask Dr. Donna. And Tiffany, what's up with your social media? And then Aletha said, that's so amazing to hear, Karen. I was wondering if it was just me. Social media don't hit the same. And then Desmond said, no lies detected, not going back. Like, not me. No, no, no. Yes, no lies detected. Correct. So any questions for Dr. Donna? And just keep naturally doing what you're doing. And you will see. And it's, again, these are not things that you're paying attention to because it's so incremental. It's so subtle. You've just been doing it every single day that something is different, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And so you don't care that people are mad. Those are your feelings. No is a complete sentence. I'm not breaking down my Queen Amina walls because you want your Oscar to not have to do Darlene work. It's available. Real leadership is available for everybody. It's the most inexpensive, neurologically transitioning work available in the world. On purpose. No one's gatekeeping. It's accessible to everyone. Jared has a question. We are asked Dr. Donna, if you got to go, I understand, but this is extended. It's necessary so that, and like now, Aletha understands that social media doesn't feel the same anymore. And it shouldn't because Oscar made it. What you're experiencing, Karen and Aletha, is that you can now measure, Miss Brenda Jones can measure if shit was made with Miss Darlene or with Oscar. That's what's happening. Lola said drink water. Just started today. I had my book fair event. Okay. It will be completed 48 hours. Thanks. Okay, yes, ma'am. So that's what's taking place. Is now you have a better neurological diet. And so your brain is now saying, yeah, let's go do something else. This ain't rewarding or fulfilling. This is kind of boring. And it's the same. That's what you will definitely start to see. MOTS, more of the same. Jared said, does creating on social media help the brain? It helps it in a different way. It's why you're doing it. So if you have like Sarah needs to start doing it. If you have a business, it works. So I would say if you have a business, then yes, you need to be on social media. And so because you're the one who needs to be making the social media posts, because it is going to expand your brain. But to just be on social media for social media's sake, I would say no, because what are you doing on social media? Now, there are people who just post stuff about their family and everything else. It's kind of reductive in my opinion, but there needs to be a reason for you using social media. So if you have a big enough why, then yes, but there are other ways to create. You can build things from scratch and make things. You can paint, you can draw, you can write music. So those are just a couple things that come to my mind. So it's not necessarily, it has to be social media, but it's what can you do for the bilateralness so that the left and right hemisphere are working together through the corpus callosum so you can go back and forth. So it's more about making sure that they communicate with each other. You're getting ready to finish these 14 courses up, so you're going to naturally be creating because you're going back to school. Desmond has a question and Andrea has a question. And Andrea or Andrea, please tell me how to pronounce your name. So send me a voicemail if you haven't over on Instagram, a voice text, whatever this shit is called, so I can pronounce your name correctly. Let me know if I've answered your question, Jared. Desmond, when watching the lives, is it better to take notes while watching? If you can, but I know I talk fast as hell because I'm trying to get all this information out. So my recommendation would be to just have short notes and do timestamps and then come back after. So if I say something, look to see what time it is and then come back to that portion. As opposed, because the last thing I want to do, and it's like, you take up 3 hours of our life every day, lady. My goal is not to take up your whole damn day and then ask more of you. So I understand people can't attend the lives every day. You have other commitments, but it's also here because I need to give you this information too. And I struggle with that because I'm like, but watch my shit because my shit actually works. So I would timestamp. I would just get a quick notebook, timestamp it, or, even these, because I don't think you would need more than a 4x6 card. and then come back and take notes on that part. So then you'd be able to take more cohesive notes that way. Let me know if I've answered your question. Andrea, how do you find a good place to stop creative activities to meet other communities like reading? I would say Meetup works to a certain extent. If you're going, because how do you find a good place to stop creative activities to meet communities like reading? So that's what I would do. The closest thing that you can do. I would also go to places that people read. So the library, cafes, book clubs are online as well. So you can find that out as well. I think I'm answering your question correctly. Let me know if I'm not. So go to the place where those things are that you like to do. Oh, now I see what you're saying. How do you find a good place to stop creative activities to meet other commitments like reading? You actually set now I understand the question. So you set a time for reading, 15 minutes a day. So if it's in the morning before you leave, I used to take, when I had my book challenges, I literally had my book with me everywhere I went, because there would be a time and I'll be like, oh, I got 10 minutes. Let me go ahead and read my book. So you actually set times for it, and those times are protected. So if you're going to read, and I'm just throwing this out here, from 8 to 8:30 every day, nobody in your family, put your phone on do not disturb. Tell everybody you know my reading time is from 8 to 8:30. And if there is an emergency, call emergency responders, because I'm not your emergency responder. So in the event that there's a bone protruding from your body or something, or you're bleeding, call 911, because that would be the only thing that I'm going to do. But so you have to put up Queen Amina walls and protect your boundaries. And when people try to test you, because they will, because their Oscar just wants to make sure that your Oscar is Oscaring, doesn't want to strengthen your Miss Darlene. So you set those boundaries there. I say 15 minutes a day when you get started, because if you haven't read in years, your brain is going to be like, this is a lot. And then go from there. So let me know if I've answered your question. All right. Everybody has a brain. Go ahead and type that in the chat. Everybody has a brain. I'll switch to all messages. I don't see anything. Everybody has a brain. Aletha said it. Tiffany said it. Who is G.I. Joe Rio? Who are you? Sarah said it. And Desmond said, thank you, very helpful. Sarah, how's those business things going? Denise said everybody has a brain. Lacey said everybody has a brain. Karen said everybody has a brain. Daisy said everybody has a brain. Oh, Joseph. Okay, all right, Joseph, because I knew it was somebody. Okay, got it. And then Bridget said everybody has a brain. All right. Thank you, Joe, because I knew it. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I know this is somebody. Whose username is this? It's a workout for me, because very few people actually have their username as their name that I use. So that switch is like a foreign language. I'm switching and translate from username to real name. I speak username. Noah said everybody has a brain. Okay, next is my attention is a resource. All right, Andrea said I meant commitments. I was working on an AI project and didn't want to stop. Yeah, and you're working on the AI project because the AI project was for fun and rewarding, and Oscar liked it. But you have to, if you notice, for everything that I was reading this morning, is that you don't feel like doing the things that strengthen Miss Darlene. So when you keep doing neural reps, what's going to happen is it's going to naturally occur. The more neural reps that you actually do, you're going to override that. I'm hot. I don't give a fuck. I got to keep doing my homework. I'm hot. I don't give a fuck. I got to turn in my neural rep. So the more neural reps, you will start to give Miss Darlene what she wants first. Still have to talk to my partner. Things have been crazy. All right. My attention is a resource. My attention is a resource. Time, Desmond. Don't do page count because Nola has ADHD, and so it takes her long to read a page, and so everybody doesn't read at the same pace. As I mentioned, when I was in college taking my criminal justice and political science classes, that shit was hard as hell. It would take me 9 minutes to read one page. So imagine if I told my ass, you got to read 15 pages tonight. I wouldn't get no sleep. So it's definitely timing because, and what will happen is you will start to read more, and then you will start to read more and get more pages read faster. I can read fast as hell now, but definitely say I'm read for 15 minutes because sometimes Noah's 15 minutes is 1 page, 2 page, depending on the book. Sometimes it's 3. So it's definitely based upon timing because you're going to get more efficient at it. Because what if it's a book you don't like? Now you're going to be an hour reading some shit that's terrible. All right, my attention is a resource. Everybody has a brain. My attention is a resource. The next question is, what did you do yesterday to strengthen Miss Darlene? What did you do yesterday to strengthen Miss Darlene? Sarah, what you think I'm about to say to you saying everything has been crazy? What you think I'm going to respond to and say? Let's see if you've been around long enough to predict what I'm about to say. My attention is a resource. Lacey saw me making up my bed, even though my sheets wasn't on it. Nola rewatched the video and said, yeah, that shit is still weird. Daisy said, that looks strange. All right, what did you do yesterday to strengthen Miss Darlene? Lacey said, I took a nap. I took a 30-minute nap yesterday. I wanted it to be longer. Tiffany said yesterday, I read 15 minutes plus to strengthen Miss Darlene. Yes, ma'am. Look at you, Sarah. You have been around. I would have just added in the front of that. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. This need to get done. This here the priority. This is the priority because this is still causing stress on the brain. So this got to get her done. So give me a date when you're going to have it done by. When is the conversation on it going to start happening? Because we are at June 21st. And July is coming upon us. Rent is due and all that. Business is businessing. Jared said, I strengthened Miss Darlene by cleaning up my office. And keep it clean, Jared, because you got to keep cleaning up your office because you haven't Lean Six Sigma that. A space for everything and everything in its space. Or that is an excuse. Yes, ma'am. A excuse. A reason wrapped up in excuse. Good job. You speak Dr. Donna now. That's awesome. Denise said, I started reading Joy at Work by Marie Kondo. Okay. I'm a reading is reading. Yes, ma'am. Bridget said, I strengthened Miss Darlene by mapping out my landscape lights design. Jerry said, ha, ha, ha. Sarah said, to strengthen Miss Darlene by stopping myself mid-chaos of running around and completing the task that I had to complete one at a time, and I still read at the end of the day. Awesome. Aletha said, to strengthen Miss Darlene, my husband and I worked on decluttering our room and old clothes and useless items. Bags are in the trunk ready for drop off. That is beautiful. Mess creates stress and that creates duress. Andrea said, my attention is a resource. Jerry said, thank you for holding me accountable. I'm working on it. Yes, sir. Well, if you get rid of everything, then you ain't got nothing that's going to have clutter. Clutter can't come if ain't nothing there to clutter it. Karen said, I strengthened Ms. Darlene by completing all my action lists. She held me accountable, and I felt great. The only other thing that I would say to Karen is to add personally accountable in front of your accountables. Because personally accountable is what I actually teach. Next question is, what did you do for fun yesterday? So if you answered your Ms. Darlene question, your next question is, what did you do for fun? Sarah, you are avoiding the conflict because you know it's going to be conflictual, and so things are going to keep showing up. But shit don't get better sitting there. It just starts thinking more. It's going to ferment. And then the stench is just going to be in the air. So go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Rip it off. Rip it! That's what they did in Diary of a Mad Black Woman when they tore up them clothes in that closet. All right. Andrea said, I thought I was doing something for Darlene by being creative, but I was just feeding Oscar. Ooh, that's an honest statement. Be honest is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And the awareness, the neurological awareness of that is amazing. You ought to still give yourself a clap for recognizing that it was taking place. Jared said, I can and will put stuff back after I'm finished with it. Yes, you can. And then that's what your brain will take a picture of and get used to it being, get organized and stay organized. And then the thing that's out of place will be the thing that you can see now, instead of everything is out of place. It will be that one thing that's not right in its space or place. What did you do for fun yesterday? What did you do for fun yesterday? Bridget said, for fun, I got rid of 3 boxes of textbooks in my garage from my... Okay. From my college years. I graduated in 2004. Okay. That was good. That was definitely good. I thought it was going to say 2024, Bridget. And I was like, oh, all right. That was 22 years ago. All right. Sarah said, yes, ma'am. We have been slowly talking about it. And there's an event today. So I'm going to start the conversation there. Okay. For fun, I went to an anniversary retirement party and had some great food and danced. Dancing is good. You dance a lot, I think. Or is that Jennifer? I gotta learn new dances. The dances I do, I don't got meg knees no more. I can't shake that, make that booty pop no more. One leg up, I'll be in traction. All right, jump around. All the music, that music from the 90s, none of us can't do that shit no more. Yes. So we can't do those. I need to do some, some up here, some shoulder stuff, a little bit. Like, I need to keep it right here. Keep it right there. All right. Aletha said, for fun, I played oldies and talked music history with my husband, danced with the twins. See, there y'all go. You millennials can still dance. That's awesome. And Sarah's like, I'm an older millennial. Jared said, let's go, Bridget. And again, yes, Sarah said, I like to dance. Yes. Nola said, I strengthened Miss Darlene by utilizing experts for a new router purchase. Yes, ma'am. And Aletha said, I learned that rhythm can be myelinated. Yes, it can be. 2-step only for me, right, Jared? You need the show Darlene, huh? Yep. That's it. Right there. Stay in the pocket. Desmond said, I played basketball with my son and won. All right. That's right. Don't let these kids win. They got to earn them W's. They got to earn them. They got to earn. So they feel when Nola finally started beating me in air hockey, she was so happy. She beat me in spades. Not spades, in speed. She run the loop. So very happy. Worked on an AI soap opera project. Okay, cool. Is that the project that you thought you was strengthening, Miss Darlene? All right. Last 2. No, damn it. 2 more. Damn it. Okay. How many brain dumps did you do yesterday? Nola said, for fun, I bought some business casual clothes. Yes, ma'am. And stayed in budget, too. Brain dumps yesterday. How many did you do? How many brain dumps did you do? Do-da, do-da. How many brain dumps did you do yesterday? Brain dumps are your friends. Brain dumps are your friends. And Latoria, are you on here this morning? Y'all might already be on the way to the church house. But I know you were on the other one. Lacey did 1 brain dump. Lacey said, happy Father's Day, Desmond. Way to go on being an amazing father and 1 brain dump. Yep, you got to beat the kids. In sports. Win playing sports. Let me... Aletha said 2 brain dumps. Nola said 2 brain dumps. Brain dumps are your friends. And so here's what I will say. Latoria, are you on here? So let me explain to you what the Neuro Reps section is for. The Neuro Rep section is for you to do the Neuro Reps, to say what took place before and during and after for you, not for the people around you that didn't get held personally accountable. That's what brain dumps are for. So if you have had a rough, tough day, do a brain dump first. Do not dump that in the comment section. That's called the dump and run. Because what happens is you said it and then you left. And then I come to your dump and run. Now I'm expecting to read a Neuro Rep, but I got a Neuro Rep I'm reading inside of a brain dump. And now I'm absorbing, and that's called neurological hitchhiking. I got a lot of Neuro Reps that I have to read on a daily basis. And so it is personally unaccountable to do a brain dump inside of your Neuro Rep, hiding the Neuro Rep inside of unaccountability. So let me give you an example. Stefan's air went out. Stefan is doing his Neuro Rep. He's saying it's hot, and he says, and he got all this homework to do because his courses are 5 weeks, in which he did not know that they were only going to be 5 weeks. So he's saying, I'm sitting at the table. I'm hot as hell. I'm tired as hell. But I'm on my way to be a bad motherfucker. Fuck Oscar. That's not a brain dump. Why? Because he has Miss Darlene online, and he is literally assessing what's happening in real time. So your Neuro Reps need to contain you. Now, if you have had to hold somebody personally accountable, and that's not something that you did before, like Karen said, I set a Queen Amina wall, and I don't care if people are mad, that's still about you. But when you start saying what other people didn't do, and you didn't do a damn thing to hold them personally accountable, you just did neurological hitchhiking, and you made that shit my problem. And that's not my problem, them your people. You didn't hold them personally accountable. How the fuck I get all the way to the end of it? How did it end up in my Neuro Rep section and your Neuro Reps in my YouTube channel? So that's venting at that point. That's complaining at that point. And neither one of those are principles of real leadership. So you need to do a brain dump. You start feeling these motherfuckers out. Okay, cool. Because they now have interrupted your neurological strengthening time, which is the Neuro Rep, because you didn't process anything. So if you're processing something, when you get to the end, your takeaway, that's why that takeaway section is there. What is your takeaway about that section? Now, if you say, I got home, motherfuckers didn't clean up the house, I went ham and burger, and made everybody clean up the house, and then I did my Neuro Rep where everybody was cleaning up the house, that's actually still a Neuro Rep. But when you say what they didn't do and what you let slide, that's being personally unaccountable. And that you was mad, I don't care about your feelings. Y'all know I don't give a fuck about how you feel. How you being mad, make it to my Neuro Reps section, my comment section on my YouTube channel. So that's what brain dumps are for. Clear your head, process your feelings, and now use Ms. Darlene to process this Neuro Rep. So are we clear? So if you do a dump and run, you're going to get a message from me. Because now I got to reset my shit. I think I'm getting ready to read a Neuro Rep about the topic, and then here comes this thing. That ain't got shit to do with Neuro Rep. How the fuck did this get here? So we're not playing tag. Those your people. That's your situation. That's why the number one principle of real leadership is hold yourself and others personally accountable. So if you want to say, this is how I hold people personally accountable, okay. It's about how you overcame the adversity. Right. It's you versus you. I don't give a fuck about them. Everybody got a brain. And the fact that you let them get away with it, but then you gonna come tell me about it. No, fuck that. This ain't no phone call. Handle that shit. Hold them personally accountable. If they don't want to be personally accountable, how they got access to you? That's one of the level 3 Neuro Reps is who has access to you? Who's earned access to you? I think it's day 11 or 12, somewhere around there. Who's in your life? Because now they in your life, and now I got to deal with them being in your life, and now you bringing that shit to me. I don't bring that shit to y'all. Not in the Neuro Rep, but Neuro Rep is a specific thing. It is a neurological repetition of do this thing to strengthen Ms. Darlene. That's where the work is. That's where the work is. So you don't put that in where the work is. That's not, you don't shit where you eat. Okay? Don't do that. That's not what that is. The Neuro Reps comments is for you versus you and your brain, boo-boo. Not for me to read some shit that you didn't handle. That will get you gone, and I don't give a fuck what level you on. I'm not gonna keep reading about your motherfucking problems. You gonna solve your problems, or you not, because you being a problem for me, and you stopping my motherfucking growth and development, and now I can't sleep. So that shit ain't gonna fucking work for me. I got rid of everybody in my life. Y'all don't, me and my sister are arguing like, hold up, here come this bitch calling me right now. Y'all hold on. That's not happening. That's not happening at all. So I ain't bringing no raggedy bullshit to you, because what's the exchange? The exchange is do the Neuro Rep so I can further the work. Not tell me about some unresolved shit that you're not doing nothing about, because that's stopping the work. Now I gotta go. I was mad as hell. I snapped that NOLA behind that shit. That shit ain't had shit to do with me. But now it's neurological hitchhiking. Now I gotta stop what I'm doing and send a message to say don't be fucking doing a dump and run, because you didn't take care of your shit, your people. That's on you. You let people do whatever they want. That's the agreement that y'all got. I ain't got shit to do with that. So there will be no dumping and running. You might have one, maybe 2 times. And after that, your ass is going to be gone. Because you not going to keep using this safe space over here to fuck up what I built and am building. That's not about to happen at all in the Neuro Reps, especially because it's a Neuro Rep. It's one thing we're messaging, and then you say this and I say that, but that shit is public. That levels 1, 2, and 3 are public, and now you doing a dump and run in my research section of my comments. That's unaccountable. And I'm saying I teach personal accountability, and here is a fucking dump and run in the middle of a mixed up Neuro Rep. That's my shit. This is my work that I spent time making. Sarah said, how you make a Neuro Rep? I made each one of them. Every individual is 672 Neuro Reps. And you talk about a family issue that you didn't resolve in my Neuro Rep section. That's my research. We're not going to disrespect my work like that. So are we clear? You do that, you're going to hear from me. Keep doing it, and you're going to hear from me, and I'm going to be saying, what the fuck is your email? Because apparently you're not doing the work. It's not fucking working. You're not holding people personally accountable, and now it's bleeding into my shit. And we're not going to have that. Ever, never, ever, never, ever, never. You think about the exchange. That's not what I give y'all. Why the fuck am I getting that back? I give real leadership, I'm going to get real leadership back, or you're going to be gone. Are we clear? So, put some respect on my motherfucking brain. Now, what'd you do to put some respect on your brain? Are the comments not on? It's probably slow. We about to get a new router installed today. There we go. I respected my brain by completing my Neuro Rep for 27 days. Roger that, coming from Joe. Sith. Aletha is thinking. I took a nap to respect my brain. I love the fact that I see y'all reading and taking naps. Those are 2 beautiful things for your brain. And I'm not saying you can't do other things. I'm just saying the fact that you're doing that. Jared, your thumbs. Lacey is thinking. Bridget said, I respected my brain by following up with my mentor about my online clinic. Kudos to you, ma'am. Bridget, Nola said, I respected my brain by reviewing my language competence. Yes, ma'am. And realizing that you were competent in Chinese, of all languages. Jared said, I put some respect in my brain by meditating. Lacey said, I show respect by resting in between events. And that is important too, Lacey, because those events are neurologically tasking. And the tendency is to prepare for the next event, but you already did that. Be prepared is one of the 74 principles for leadership. So you need that time to rest and reset, so that you can be at your best for, like, for example, yesterday, Nola's first appointment ran into her second appointment. So I drove to the second appointment or get something to eat. And then she went in. She didn't need me at all for the second appointment. So she rested while I drove, and then I rested while she did that second appointment. Teamwork makes the dream work. All right, and if you've answered how you show respect to your brain, the last two questions for today are: what did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? And Latoria, if you're watching on the replay, we already had this discussion. I'm just explaining it to you verbally why it can't occur again. I know you said, okay, you understand, but this is for everybody. You need a physical keyboard. Yes, sir. Or a stylus. I have a stylus on my phone. This is a new phone for you, too. So how did you respect your brain if you haven't answered that already? And the last two questions today: what did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? Sarah said, I learned that I need time in the morning to listen to your lives and get some other things done that I need to start my day, or I will be behind the rest of the day. Okay, got it. My nose is itching. Aletha said, I respected my brain by acknowledging that this is a process. Normally, I would feel rushed and rushed to results. I'm allowing myself to set a pace. I'm choosing consistency. You got a brain, and you're going to have a brain the whole time you're here. There's nothing to rush, because you just going to end up needing to know more, because the more you myelinate, the more you got to myelinate. So go slow to go fast. Lacey said, I learned today that from TikTok, the brain doesn't require perfection. It requires repetition. Yeah, Oscar's bitch ass is the perfectionist, even though he can't accomplish shit. And anybody got time for no damn perfection? And that's wasted, because it's stressful trying to get something perfect. Bridget said, not Bridget, I apologize, Sarah. Sarah said, I learned about myself that I have been so focused on perfectionism that I'm not commanding myself for the repletion. I am getting it right because I am still going with this program every day. I'm holding myself accountable, personally accountable. So everybody, right now, I don't care what you're doing, type personal accountability. Type personal accountability. Because accountable, as I said, is coming from an external stimuli. You don't want to get a ticket, so you literally don't speed. You want electricity, you pay your bills. That's all accountable is. It's coming from an external stimuli. Personal accountability is what we read in the Neuro Reps. Personal accountability don't fucking matter what's happening. I'm going to make the best decision for my brain and for everybody involved. It's personal accountability. And keep remembering that it's personal, because it's a choice. This, you own and control and influence what you're doing every day. Daisy said, I learned that I need to hold myself personally accountable daily. Yes, ma'am, you do. Denise said, I learned today to keep persevering to see progress. And I learned about myself to remember to have fun, because I forgot to have fun. Yeah, you got to have fun every day. Because not this is a day you're never going to get back. Personal accountability from Nola and Sarah. I put respect on my brain by showing up on TikTok and YouTube to better strengthen my brain. Yes, sir. Denise said personal accountability. Joe said personal accountability. Lacey said, I learned about myself that can really does make the impossible possible. All I can do is my best, and that's the can that I can is personal accountability. Yes, ma'am. Aletha said personal accountability. She's thinking. Nola said, I learned about myself. My brain is building up the stamina to be 100% personally accountable. Andrea is thinking. Bridget said, I learned that clearing out clutter gives your brain a refresh. You get bandwidth and cortical real estate. Lola said personal accountability. Andrea said, I learned that the commitments to building Darlene are top priority. Always, every day. Karen said personal accountability. Aletha said, today I learned how my peers are internalizing this work. It really It's really beautiful being in the space with them. Yes, ma'am. You're thinking. Bridget said, I learned about myself that I have an unnatural attachment to useless crap. Get rid of that because it's definitely impacting up here. And Jared said, I learned today that I must be organized to keep things clear. I learned about myself today that I need to always be learning to keep the brain from deteriorating. Personal accountability. So anytime, I can always tell when Nola and I are very busy based upon the amount of post-its on my desk. So what clutter is saying is it's a lot going on up here. So anytime you got a lot of clutter out here, check here. Check here. And so y'all saw my closet the other day. Not a lot of shit nowhere. I got a bed, a dresser, and a lamp in my bedroom. It's real simple and shit. So the more clearness you have out here, the more cortical real estate and neural clarity you have up here. If you got every last wall in your house covered, you got rugs on top of carpet, you got shit everywhere, tchotchkes everywhere, and all knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone, you ain't got no cortical real estate up here. So the more neural clarity, the more purging, and that's energy. And we talked about this with Monique, with her having all the things from when her travels that she keeps, is that energy of when you got that thing is there. So you got to ask yourself, do I want that energy of this? That's why I had to get rid of all my Army uniforms, because that shit had bad energy. And I'm like, I don't want this shit nowhere. I don't give a fuck. I don't want this energy. No, I'm going to keep my dog tags, and I'm going to keep my certificates in my doggone my folder, and that's it. But I can't bring that energy with me. And so that's what you holding on. So you got to ask yourself neurologically, what state were you in when you got those things? And is that matching who you're becoming? Does it match your 2 levels up? And if it doesn't, Denise, you got 1 more storage unit. Tiffany, you shouldn't have a storage unit at this point anymore. That stuff got to go so you can grow. Jared said, I started rushing without cleaning up after myself. Exactly. Andrea said personal accountability. Bridget said my cortical real estate is very thin. Okay, that's no bueno. That stuff got it, especially when you live somewhere. So for me to not have all this shit after 15 and a half years living in the same house, then when you live in the same house, all that shit is still there. Daisy said, I learned about myself today that it's in my best interest to always declutter my space, so I will always have clear thinking and brain space. Exactly. So do not hold on to it. Someone else needs it. And I say that in my book. Let somebody else, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Let everybody else treasure your trash. Go ahead and donate it. And discard it. If it's electronics, recycle it responsibly. But that's stopping you. It don't seem like it. You don't need 7 blue blouses. You don't need 5 pair of black stiletto heels. You don't. It's not a need at that point. Somebody else needs that. I've been telling myself this serves no purpose, and when I die, they're going to throw it away. So get rid of this shit. Exactly. Exactly. I learned that I have more room in my brain now. I'm coming up with new ideas and solutions. Denise is looking like this. I don't know how you remember those details, Dr. Donna, because you have the spiders in the 3rd one. So you were 1.5 way through. Your son has to come back. Yes, ma'am. I told y'all I read everything. That's why I'm absorbing it. So if I see some neurological hitchhiking shit, that's coming in too. Now I gotta be doing. Get us out of here now! This ain't the Neuro Rep. This neurological hitchhiking. No! What the fuck is this? No! I gotta recover. Yes, Aletha. So that's why I can't. No, I'm like, I ain't giving you this shit. This is not what I gave you. What the fuck is this? Don't turn this assignment in. This was not the assignment. Joe said, is there a glossary or key legend that has all the medical neurological names and the Dr. Donna research course names for things like that? No, sir. You're the second person that has asked that. Let me write it down. Hold up. Where's my post-its? Over here. I got a note sitting on top of it. I will consider it, Joe. I've said no. You're the second person. Glossary of neuro terms and brain nicknames. The reason why I'm saying no is because seeing it is not going to allow you to be able to use it in the way that it was designed to be used. So I will consider it because it's the second time. It's where would it be posted? How would you know? And it's more so that you have to just keep doing the work. So I know it feels confusing, but you're at level 1. Only thing you need to be focusing on now is level 1. And it's the neural reps. It's the doing as opposed to the memorizing. And so that's what chat was saying about Lacey's, is that she didn't memorize it. It's neurological sophistication. So it's literally about doing it, not about memorizing it. So that's why I'm like, let me think about that. Aletha said, thanks, Jared. I felt like it was all downhill for me before I started doing this work. And most people have, Aletha. That's why everybody ends up at my door, at my virtual door. And then Bridget said, at Denise, it amazes me the things she remembers. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I will never forget that you have been married for 39 years. And so, but I also will remember that you got too much shit in your house. And I also know you got that habit of 47 years that you've had since you was 13. So she just gonna remember that. Just any and everything, random shit that you just said and pass it. And here I come with the receipts. Now y'all see why didn't nobody win no arbitrations against me when I was at the job. You said what now? Oh, let's see what we got. Let's pull it out. Let's see what we got. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the 2-hour mark. I appreciate everybody. Latoya, keep focusing on what you're doing. If you happen to be watching on the replay, y'all understand, do not drop that shit in the neural reps. It's fucking with it's tainting the research. It is tainting the research. Do not do that. Brain dump. Do the neural rep, because I gotta assess if this is working. I heard the wrap up music when they want you to go off the stage, Aletha. Is that what you're saying for me? Thanks, Jared. I felt okay, got it. Joe said, how about a certain level you get it as like part of a rubric? I don't know, maybe that would be good. Don't want to impose. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate what you're saying, Jared. I can't remember. I mean, not Jared, Joseph. And so I will consider things. And so I'm not opposed to it. I'm saying, how can it be delivered? And then what does that look like? So I'm not saying no. I'm more saying, how can that work in the process of it? I thought it was time to play Sudoku. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, sir. So that's all I'm saying, Joseph. And because new people are coming, because remember, it was a group that just came with me as this was being evolved. And now newer students are showing up. So I'm really just saying, how and when is the right time for you to get it? Because this is my concern, Joseph. You know, you was here in January and then you left and you back. But if you give people too much too soon, now it's going to be overwhelming. And now they're going to have cognitive overload. So it's more like you said, Joseph, at what point do you get this information? So I wrote it down now. I am taking it into consideration and playing that out. And what is the delivery mechanism? Is it a video? Is it a blog? Is it something that, how would you get it and how would you use it? Because for me, it's how do we incorporate it into what's already here? So I'm not saying no. I'm more so saying how and when and what would it be doing? That's what I'm saying. And Aletha said, right. I was out of the count, Jared. Couldn't comprehend a thing. Well, now it's a whole new world. It is. And so you all are doing the work. And so, Joseph, that you can message me. Well, let's wait. Let's let you get through level 2. And then we will come back and see. I will be working on stuff at that point because you will be further along. And I want to see if things start clicking for you with more attendance of the live and everything else. So let's put a pin in it for now. I'll start processing my thoughts on it, and then it will be something that will come up, because I don't want people to get caught up in memorization and not have implementation. That's the biggest thing that Chad and I had a conversation about as well. Okay, so thank you all very much for doing the work. Again, there are no brain dumps in the neural reps. That's the research results. And so later in life, people are going, and I know y'all not accustomed to 2 levels up, but just like I pulled out these notebooks from 2.5 years ago, somebody is going to be reading the concepts in those neural reps and then say, oh, but that's not personally accountable. I thought she said that was personal accountability. And then I have to say, fuck you, bitch, where's yours? But let's not have me have to say that in the future. So it is the actual proof. It's the evidence that Neuro Reps actually work. So do the actual neurological work. Does that make sense? Go do a brain dump, clear your head, do the actual exercise, the repetition. That's what's going to strengthen your brain, to give you strength to go tell those people to kick rocks. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for your time. Okay, Joe said, thank you. I love you all so much. This is so much more of an opportunity than most people may think it is. It's quite a privilege. Yes, I agree. And I am always grateful for you to do the work, but I'm always hold you personally accountable, because ain't nobody about to stop me from doing this work. Nothing but death could keep me from it. So that part. So it's an exchange, but there's still a standard of excellence, and there's still rules of engagement, and the work has to be the work. So keep doing the work because you're worth it. So work it because you work it. I agree, Joseph. This is amazing. Yes, Joe. I was getting too technical instead of trusting the process. Yes, he was. Jared had his robot glasses on. He was in the 80s. This is my Neuro Rep. I turn it in. This is the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. It works, so work it, because I'm like, We're not doing that no more. No more. So the feelings dashboard is coming online for Jared. And so he is having a good time with this new vocabulary called feelings, nothing but feelings. And it's not warm and fuzzy, soft language. It's actual body awareness and knowing what's taking place. So God willing, higher power in the universe. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, safe learning space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off. Denise, have fun starting the day. Have fun. Your definition of fun. Sarah, get ready to start having those conversations. Lacey, you owe photos of where you are with your atelier business. Bridget, you are doing a much better job of staying focused on the clinic and your Neuro Reps. And Denise, as a reminder, your Neuro Reps are about retirement too. Retirement. So you can do act 3 of your life, because you're going to look up, and this time next year you're going to be here and you ain't going to have any retirement strategy whatsoever. And then you're going to be like, well, maybe I'll stay another year. You're not staying a fucking year. It's time to go. So you can grow. All right. And she's like, damn, she remembered that too. And she know that her company, her business allows them to retire at 60. It's all there waiting for you, your inspections. Yes, ma'am. Got it. You all go off and have a fantabulous brain building day. Take care. Adios.